explain the different components of the warehouse. Steel warehouse. So the first one is called main system, can be truss or frame, is repeated at equal spacing. The spacing can be 15 to 30 feet, can be smaller or can be bigger, that's fine, but we highly recommend to use this range. Then we have something called the purlin. These purlins are connecting the main system at the top floor or the top roof, and you have the full freedom to choose the location of these purlins if you are using frames. But we highly recommend the spacing between these purlins in the range of 5 to 10 feet. But if you are using trusses, you don't have this freedom, because the location of your purlins must be located at each joint of your truss. Not accepted. Wrong if you put purlins rested on the member of a truss directly. It's wrong. It's not correct. And we then, after you put your purlins, we can put the corrugated steel sheets as the roof panels to make your covering sheet. We have also, from this side of the building and the other side of the building and this side also and this side also, we have something called side girts. Something looks like purlins, but extended on the side of the structure, this side and this side, and also from this side. We have end gable from only two sides, this one and the other one. We cannot leave this span, this width of the building without any intermediate columns. So we will provide columns here. These columns are called end gables, just to support your side girts and also to support if you are building or constructing walls or doors or windows or whatever you have from this side and the other side. Today, and also the last component was the wind bracing. And I told you the wind bracing are used for the first and the last panel. First and the last one. If your length of the building is too much, more than 50 or 75, we can provide one in the intermediate panel at this panel. But if your length is smaller than this one, that's fine. The first one and the last one only. Horizontal bracing at the top, we are doing this diagonal. And if you have horizontal wind bracing, that means you must have vertical wind bracing, just a diagonal between the two columns of the main system. So these are the different components of your warehouse. Today, we will learn a little how to draw your views, which is called layout. This layout is very important because you will determine some information. Keep in your mind, the plan means you are looking from the top. This is called plan view. And I would like to highlight a point. The language between engineers or the language between engineers and workers is drawing. The language between engineers, each other, and engineers and workers is drawing. I will not write a statement explaining the warehouse component. No, I will provide this or this drawing for the workers or the general contractor or whatever. I will provide drawing. That makes sense? So what I covered verbally. Last meeting is already explained in this drawing. Let's see. I will explain first the plan, how to draw your plan. What does it mean, all of these lines? One by one. Plan, as I told you, you are watching from the top. So I have question. If you are watching for this or this structure from the top, if you look to this main system from the top, anybody can tell me what you are going to see? If you look from the top, what you are going to see from this shape of the main system, which is repeated uniformly. Line, thank you, Mitchell. Yes, only one line, single line. So you are going to see this line. This line is representing the top part of the main system. What about this column? What about this column? You cannot see it because you are watching from the top. However, I will represent these two columns by this I section and this I section. So what does it mean? It means we have two columns and we have this line in between the two columns. This line represents your top part or your beam of the top part of the main system. Keep in your mind that this main system, frame or truss, whatever, I don't care. If this one is truss, I don't care. Also, if you are watching from the top, I will see only the top part of this main system. Line, just line. And then we have a column, and then we have another column. Keep in your mind, this main system is repeated with uniform distance. So I will repeat this or these lines here. One more. I'm repeating the main system, whatever, how many do you have, but all of them at equal spacing. Keep in your mind, looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spacing. Assume your spacing, for example, 15 or 20 or 25 or 30 feet, because we have this range. We have a range for spacing between main system. So I draw this main system as a line, and this column looks like this, and this column looks like this from the top. So I will complete my columns. If you are using AutoCAD, it will be very easy. Just to draw one and make copy. I will show you this on AutoCAD very soon. And also from the other side. What I draw right now, what I'm drawing right now is plan. Plan. I'm drawing the main system, how they will look like in plan. These are the main systems of your structure. Looks like this line is your main system. This line is your main system. This line is your main system. This line is your main system, and so on. Does that make sense? So these lines, which are solid and the thickness is bigger, they are thick lines, so they represented the main system. Keep in your mind, I put indication for the columns at this one, just indication I, something very small like this. I at each main system. That makes sense? This is the first one. Keep in your mind, we have purlins. I will change the color. We have purlins. These purlins perpendicular to the direction of your main system in the second direction. So if you represent your main system like line like this, the purlin will be in the other direction. Do you remember what was the spacing between your purlins? You determined this. For example, 5 feet, 6 feet, whatever. So I will draw lines in this way. We have purlin. After 5 feet or whatever, I have another purlin. After 5 feet, I have another purlin. I'm not perfect exactly 100%, but these are lines. Assume they are lines. One more important thing is, if you look here at this top point, we should have two adjacent purlins. Two adjacent purlins. I'm not sure I can show it to you. Here you go. This is the top part or the top point of your main system. Because at this point, we have different slopes. The slope of this floor like this, and the slope of this floor like this. So this is a turning point. At this turning point, we are going to provide two purlins, two parallel purlins. One at the end of this part of the main system, and one at the end of this part of the main system. That makes sense? So at the intermediate point, we should have two adjacent parallel lines. These two adjacent parallel lines represent the point of change between this slope and this slope of your main system. We are going to provide two purlins, one at this end and one at this end. So this purlin will support the corrugated sheet covering this part of the floor, and this purlin will will support the corrugated sheet covering this part, and here we will provide something like this. That makes sense? So at this turning point, we will have two provided purlins. Keep in your mind, your purlin are extending here, here, every 5 feet or whatever you select. Here you go. That makes sense? That makes sense? So if you look to your plan, at this location, we have two adjacent parallel lines at the midpoint of your main system. So we have, this is a purlin, another purlin, another purlin, another purlin, and we have here two, just 1 millimeter or 2 millimeter spacing between the two parallel lines here. And we have purlins here, purlin, 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 purlin. That makes sense? In the first panel and the last panel, I will draw diagonals. Represent the horizontal wind bracing. Probably we can use this color. Diagonal for each two spacing for the purlins, I will draw a diagonal. For each two, I will draw a diagonal. For each two, I will draw a diagonal. We are missing one here. We should have one more here. Because your plan must be symmetry. This side exactly like this side. So we should have a diagonal. I will provide these diagonals at the first panel and the last panel. I will show you a mistake. If you did it, you are doing a mistake. Just a second. Hey, one of you will say, hey, can I do one diagonal for all of them? Actually, you can. Actually, you can. But I recommend to use every two spacing with a diagonal, each two spacing with a diagonal. The fatal mistake here, if you draw a diagonal like this, and I would like one of you to say what is the mistake. if you draw a diagonal like this. Can I do this? Can I do this diagonal at this location? If not, why? Thank you. Yes. Yes. Let's go back here for this one. Everybody, can you watch the top? This is the turning point between this slope and this slope. I need one of you to imagine, how can I draw diagonal between this side and this side? Doesn't make sense, because you are connecting between two different slopes, two different surfaces. Yes, I understand that you can provide diagonal between this point and this point. Yes, we can understand this. We can understand that we can provide diagonal between these points and these points. We can understand that we can provide diagonals between these points and these points. Doesn't make sense to provide diagonals between this side and this side, because you are talking about two different slopes. That makes sense? So don't do this. If you have the two adjacent parallel purlins, which represented the turning point between this slope and this slope, don't do this. Don't put diagonals crossing these two adjacent lines. Doesn't make sense. You are doing a mistake. So these diagonals will be ended at these two parallel purlins. That makes sense? Because we have horizontal wind bracing, we must have here vertical wind bracing, which represent this diagonal or these diagonals. So I will represent them by dash line here and the dash line here. That means this dashed line means I connected diagonals between this column and this column, and another diagonal between this column and this column. Why? Because I have horizontal wind bracing. Why? We must provide the wind bracing at the first panel of your plane and the last panel of your plane. So we must have horizontal, vertical wind bracing and the vertical wind bracing. If this length is too much, too long, more than 100 feet, I recommend to provide an intermediate horizontal wind bracing. Just a second, like this. And I'm sorry, guys, I messed up. And vertical wind bracing. If you have a very long building, if this one is 100 feet or more, I highly recommend to add an intermediate panel with horizontal and vertical wind bracing. If you look to this plan, exactly like what you are seeing. So right now you can understand what's going on. Hey, I'm seeing something else. Yeah, you are seeing circles and the name of each axis. It's just for fun, you know, but we draw the main component we are looking for. If you open your AutoCAD, line, for example, it's 30. This is the main system. I can make this line thicker. Do you know how? Do you know how to make this line looks thicker? I can select here the thickness I'm looking for example, 0.4. Yes, the thickness of this line looks like 0.4, but looks like normal, because you have to select this icon. If you select it, the line looks thicker. You know what I mean? And you can make copy for this line. For example, the spacing is 20 feet. That makes sense? Then I can make more copies from this one to this one to this one, this one. So if you are using AutoCAD to draw your plan, it will be very easy. At this location, if you would like to represent your column looks like rectangles, that's fine, no problem. I will accept it. And you can make hatch for this rectangle like solid and move it to this end. So we have a column here and we have another column on the other side. That makes sense? And these columns are repeated because we have the main system. So in a second, you can finish up your draw. These are the main system. These are the main system. Keep in your mind, from the midpoint, at this location, we must have offset 0.1, for example, 0.1 this way, and 0.1 this way. So we have two parallels, two parallel parallels at this location. So I draw the length is 30. We have Berlin here also. So the spacing between each, this one and this one is 15. So I will divide it to 5 spacing or 3 spacing, whatever, it's up to you. I will make offset 3 meters. There you go. If you would like to make mirror, I can select all of these. Mirror, MI. I can select all of them and they make mirror like this. There you go. So I draw, this is the plan. I draw the main system, looks like lines. I gave indication that I have a column here. It can be accepted like rectangles, that's fine. But the best way to draw your column looks like this. This is the best way. Looks like I, like this. And if you would like to make this thicker, you can select the thickness and then you can move them at this end. This is the best way. I'll remove this one. There you go. This is the best way to represent your column. But if you would like to make it like rectangles, that's fine. I will accept it. But this is the best way. Okay, let's remove these. In AutoCAD, everything can be done very quickly. Just to remove. Then I will take copy for this column and make it many copies. It's very important to remember how to use AutoCAD in your drawing. Not just for this course, but for your life. AutoCAD is important. Once you did one side, you can make mirror for this and make mirror about the midpoint. Here you go. Yeah. That makes sense? For diagonals, I will do diagonal, but keep in your mind 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 spacing. So you can adjust them, making diagonal like this for the first 2. And then you can make diagonal with the next 3. That makes sense? You cannot leave one rectangle without diagonal. If you decided to put wind breathing at the first panel, you have to provide diagonals for all of them. If you put your diagonal for each 2, that means the remaining one will be without diagonals. It's okay to provide this diagonal, but we don't recommend it to use one diagonal for one rectangle. I can accept this. I will not say it's wrong. Okay. Once you did this for the first, this side, I can make a mirror. Here you go. So you did this for the first panel, I can make copy for these diagonals. I can make copy. How can I make a copy right now? Okay, I can make a copy from this column. I did a copy to this one. No, I did not do a copy. I did mirror. Anyway, CO, enter, copy for these members. And I will catch it from this column and put it here at the same point on this column. There you go. That makes sense? If I highly recommend you to do this, if you would like to make these lines as dashed, you can do it. But if the dash line, the scale is too much, you can make, select it from modify, properties. You can make the scale smaller, 0.2, for example. There you go. If you would like to make this one looks like this one, okay, go ahead and select the line you adjusted and choose what? Choose this match properties, this one, and then select. Oh, I'm sorry. No, wait, not this one. Which one? Me. I cannot remember the shape of the icon, but yes, match properties. This one, match properties. What you mean? I mean, I would like to make this line looks like this line. So select what you would like to make like this one, and then get the command, then select the other line. So the other line will be the same. I highly recommend to draw your diagonal like dashed line. This is very important. You should do this before doing copy. These are the horizontal wind bracing. There you go. Don't forget, if you have horizontal wind bracing, which are these diagonals, we must have these vertical wind bracing, looks like dashed line. So how can I do this? Just draw a dashed line here in this column and this column. How can I make it dash? You have many options. You can select this one and make match properties, or select your line from this one, select the dashed line. If you are feeling the scale is too much, just select the line one more time, modify properties, and adjust this scale to be 0.2. Does that make sense? There you go. So I put here the vertical wind bracing. If you would like, make mirror to this line at the midpoint to be on the other side. If you would like, you can make copy for these two vertical bracing, copy. I can catch it from this column and put it here. This is your plan. This is exactly what it's drawn here. If you would like to make these circles, it's very easy. Very easy. We can draw a line with a length, for example, 5. Not 5. We can make it 3. Line with 3 lengths. And I can select this line and it changes the color to be red. And I can select this line and make the shape looks like looks like center line. We can select here center. There you go, center line, center, the first one. Select the line one more time and choose center. So it's a center line. And draw a circle. Move this circle to be here. Then you can make copy for this center line and the circle and put it here at each column. That makes sense? Here you go. If you would like to make mirror for these lines and the circles about the center point, there you go. If you would like to draw circles at each or whatever the position of your purlins, that's fine. It's up to you. You can do it. And also after you are done, you can put your dimensions. Dimensions, yes, dimension linear between this line and this line. So the dimension between the main system, if you read your drawing, I can say the spacing between this main system and this main system looks like 20. If you are not feeling good about this format, you can change it from select it and then modify properties. You can general no text. Your text height can be bigger, 0.5. How many number of decimal? It should be down here. Here you go. The dimension. No, not this one. Just a second. Yes, precision. How many number of decimal? You can select 1 decimal or 2 decimal. I will select 1 decimal. 1 decimal is good. There you go. Here is the dimension. You can repeat it one more time. Dimension linear from this point to this point. If you would like to make this one like this one, select this one, match properties. Where is that? Here you go. And like this, so this one would be like this one. Or you can make copy. I will select this one and make copy between this point and 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 this point. I put the dimension. I forgot one. Anyway. I recommend to do it one by one. So copy. CO, enter. Between this line and this line, here you go. And this line, here you go. And this line. I messed up. Anyway, you can do it one by one. Don't make copy for dimensions, okay? So I will dimension linear between this point and this point. Oh, goodness. Wait. Dimension linear between this point and this point. One more between this point and this point. If you would like to make match properties for this line and this dimension line, that's all. If you would like, and I highly recommend it to do this, to put a dimension line for the whole length of your building. So as engineer, I can understand that the total length of your building is 140. Also, if you would like, I can write something here. Okay. I can move this A to be inside this circle. I can make it bigger by scale, more bigger, like this. Then I can copy this A to all of them. You will ask me, hey, all of them are A? No. Once you put copy, you can double click here or ED enter. You can change this A to B. Just click. Then you can change it to C. Then just click. You can change it to D. Then just click after D, we have E, and click what after D, E, F, I think, F, G, and then H. Which H is important for me. My daughter, her name is Hannah. So anyway, so after you are done with these, you can make copy for this text. All of them, and they make copy to be on. That makes sense. This is called plan. This is called plan. I finished my plan in just a few minutes, just 15 minutes. This is the plan. I highly recommend it to use AutoCAD. For elevation, elevation is very easy. You are watching from this side. This is called elevation. What you will see right now, hey, if you are watching from this side, what you are going to watch, I will watch only, I'm gonna watch only this rectangle. Nothing else behind this rectangle. I will not look for anything on the roof, this side or the back. I don't care. I will look only for this rectangle. So what do you think? I will watch this column, and then the next column, and the next column, and the last column, and I will watch the side girds. Side gird, side gird, side gird. And if you have vertical window bracing, I will see this diagonal. That's all. Can you see? Column, 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 and keep in your mind each column at each main system from your plan. Each column at each main system. And the height of this column equal the height of the real column in your main system. And we have side girds, side girds, side girds, because we have here horizontal window bracing, we will have here vertical window bracing. The vertical window bracing will be shown if you are watching elevation. So if you open your AutoCAD, I will draw my elevation. Oh, I have error. AutoCAD will close. I'm so sorry. Probably I will try to open it one more time. Hopefully it's saved. Hopefully. Open. Yes. Recover. Recover. No? Yes. We did it. We did it. So nothing. Okay. So this is the most important step in your AutoCAD. All the time, keep saving, 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 saving to not to lose anything. Just sometimes the error can happen. So anyway, I will draw a vertical line. And I will have this top. After this one, I have purlins. I have side girds, for example, every 3 feet. And then your column will be after 3 feet also. So I will do trim. Probably I can delete this one, right? There you go. So I have line, and the line, and this one is not exist. There you go. Keep in your mind, this line is thick, so I will make matching. This line will be thick. Keep in your mind, because each main system will have a column in the elevation. So I will make copy for this one at this location, this location, this location, this location, this location, this location, this one, and the last one. Here you go. Because I have horizontal wind bracing in this panel, I should have vertical wind bracing. Probably I can do something like this. This diagonal and this for the whole part. If you make it one diagonal, that's fine. I cannot say anything. Also, I will make copy for this diagonal to be. Hey, because we have vertical diagonal, I'm sorry, vertical wind bracing here, we should have a line here with dashed line. I can make it like this. Represent that we have horizontal wind bracing. So from your elevation, this line represents the horizontal wind bracing, the dashed line, and this diagonal represents the vertical wind bracing. If you would like to make them dashed, that's fine. From the plan, these diagonals represent the horizontal wind bracing, and this dashed line represents the vertical one. I highly recommend to draw a horizontal line, represent your support, because we did not draw support for your column. Make it thicker. Yeah, something like this. That's all. I can make copy. Keep in your mind, if you decided that we have horizontal wind bracing at any intermediate panel for some reason, like this one, we must have vertical wind bracing in this panel. That makes sense? Here you go. This is the plan, and this is the elevation. And also, you must have horizontal wind bracing. Here you go. If you would like to add these circles, you can do it here for the elevation. It's very easy from AutoCAD. Just to make copy for these circles and the text. And you can make a copy from this end to this end. There you go. Very easy. It's AutoCAD. Then we will do side view. A side view is very easy. One of them is your main system. So for example, this is a side view. Just draw your truss or just draw your frame. That's all. In this case, it's a truss. Just your truss. This is a side view, just your main system, nothing else. And your main system with the end gable and side girts. What you mean? I mean, I draw side view for two positions. The first position, you are looking for this side. So you will see your main system besides this end gable and this end gable and this end gable and this side girts, and side girts. You know what I mean? And another side view, you are looking for this intermediate main system. If you look to this intermediate main system, it will be without anything inside. This is the meaning of side view. So if you have your main system, which is this one, you can redraw it here and make two side views, one without end gable and the side girds, and the other one with side girds and end gables. This is the first example in this module, and your homework something looks like this.